there's been a lot of hand-wringing on both sides of the aisle, from Democrats as well as Republicans, on what this White House is doing in terms of these tariffs. What is realistic in terms of what Congress can do to try to make or encourage the Trump administration to change course?
Well, I think we have to be very clear that we're bringing the voices of the people throughout the districts that we represent to Congress and hopefully to the attention of the administration, so they understand the impact that trade decisions and tariff decisions have on our communities. I represent Washington State. We're the most trade-dependent state in the country, and the tariffs have been, besides the uncertainty that they have caused around trade in general, tariffs have had a direct impact. Retaliation on our agricultural products already has caused, for example, our cherry farmers to see tariffs go up from 10% to 50%. So that's a very direct impact right away. And it's very important that Ambassador Lighthizer and others who are looking at trade policy understand that we're making decisions that are impacting families and workers right here at home.
You know, it's really interesting to hear the pain on the ground, because we're often hearing from folks that the sentiment is there, but the damage actually at least isn't being done or isn't being felt just yet. I know that one of your deep dives is also technology, and there's also a concern about jobs and job losses there. Tell me about that.
Well, I think in all sectors, actually, as we look at the impacts that tariff had, and just frankly trade uncertainty. With trade uncertainty, we see that folks might want to go to other markets to find goods where things might be more predictable, especially when they're looking for long-term relationships. And that uncertainty then impacts our local businesses, their ability to sell. We've also heard from large businesses that can move production, that they might move production to other markets where they can produce locally and not see a tariff impact. And obviously that would impact workers right here at home, and why I introduced legislation to make sure that we continue to provide assistance that we do today. We provide trade adjustment assistance, that we provide that to workers who might be displaced because of tariffs and an impact on or inability of local companies to export products because of tariff barriers.
Congresswoman, there seems to be pretty bipartisan agreement within Congress that China, at least historically and perhaps contemporarily, has been engaging in unfair and unsportsmanlike, shall we say, trade practices. If tariffs aren't the answer, is there any sort of consensus or possibility of consensus as to what the desired outcome and strategy going forward should be?
Well, I think we should understand the issues that we face. We were speaking about aluminum earlier. We have an aluminum smelter in my district. We have a problem with overproduction from China. This should be a multilateral approach. We should be working with others to make sure we address that issue instead of putting tariffs up on even our allies, to the point where we aren't actually addressing the problem or solving a solution. We've created new problems. We really need to be working with folks to address the problems that we see that are out there. There is no clear plan from this administration on what the end game is and how we're going to get there. And that's obviously very concerning too. And where does it end? Where does it end?
The noise over Russian election meddling or alleged Russian election meddling has reached pretty much fever pitch this week, right, with all the confusion from the White House as to where the president stands. How much does this play into the midterms, and do you believe there should be additional sanctions placed on Russia?
Well, we have a president who really undermined our democracy, undermined our intelligence and law enforcement agencies in his comments in Helsinki. We clearly have a serious situation. The Director of National Intelligence has said, our Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, has said that the warning lights are flashing. That means that we have to be very responsible in terms of protecting the integrity of our elections, making sure we have strong resources put in cybersecurity. And the president has not acknowledged that that's a concern or a priority. That needs to be a priority. And members of Congress need to speak up, make sure that we are continuing to put resources in place to make sure we are doing everything we can to protect our security and protect the integrity of our elections. It is irresponsible of this president that he is not making this a priority as well.